All right, IE Press fans, this is a special young woman who is formerly of Etiwanda High School, uh, nationally ranked softball star, great person in the community as well. And now she is a freshman at the University of Michigan. As you can see in the background, I'm trying to make you feel at home at your second home and
Right.
trying to represent for you. So with no further ado, I'd like to welcome Julia Jimenez to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Thanks for having me. It's
Yes,
awesome.
yes. We're very proud of you. And so we're just going to ask you a few questions. Before I even ask any questions, had you ever spent any time in cold weather environments growing up, like Big Bear, going anywhere? Or was this just like brand new, boom, here we go, Michigan weather?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I never lived in a cold state. Obviously, I've been here my whole life, but we visit the mountains and we do all that for fun. So, I mean, one day is not gonna help with the amount of time that I spend now at Michigan. So, it's different, but it's worth it. So,
That's awesome. That is real life weather up there. All right. So for those who are watching the interview, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of aspiring softball players who would love to play in college. When did you start playing softball?
I started when I was around 5, so that was 2006, and I played baseball with my brother before. So we were coached by many people, my dad being one of them. So, I mean, it was that time to transition to softball. So it was around 2006.
Awesome. And for those who don't know, I know you have at least one brother that is playing at Long Beach State
Yes,
baseball, Chris.
yes.
And so next question is, this is a question I've always wanted to ask uh, young people who have been in your position. When you're knowing you're getting recognition at the high school level, is it already in your mind like, hey, I'm getting out of state, or are you kind of open to just whatever option becomes available?
Yeah, so I mean, recruiting starts at such a young age for softball. I know now the rules have changed, but um when you're younger and you start looking at all of these schools, you don't really think like, "Oh, I want to go out of state," or "I want to stay in state." It's kind of like what's available, and like you kind of do it just for the joy of your sport, and whatever you fall in love with, then you fall in love with. So I think at a young age, I was kind of like, I'm going to get out of this place. I'm getting out of California and going away. I mean, it worked. We're at Michigan now, but you don't know until you visit schools, and Michigan I just fell in love with. So I'm here now.
Yes, you are. Now, media, TV. When I think of college, there are about 5 colleges that I feel are iconic colleges in America. You have Michigan, you have Notre Dame, you have USC, and two other, someone can pick, but there are those iconic campuses that people just think of when they think of college and just big time. What was it like your first class in Ann Arbor, your first class you took? Did you have to pinch yourself? Like, what did it feel like to finally be there, starting your classes, and just being a student?
Yeah, for sure. It's super different because the class sizes are, you could have 400 people in a class, and it's just like, how do I learn with 400 people? But just walking around campus and seeing everyone, you have the student athletes walking around with their backpacks on, and just seeing different people from different like areas of the world. It's crazy, and it's a great opportunity. And the University of Michigan provides so much help for us athletes, for our classes that maybe not other people have. So that's a bonus as well. But it's great walking around, seeing everyone in their Michigan gear going to class with 500 other people. So it's awesome.
That's I would love to see that. That's got to be a great feeling. Now, as far as the college softball season is in the spring, correct?
Yes.
So that gives you a little bit of an advantage compared to other freshmen coming in, student athletes who, like, if they play a fall sport, they have to kind of get right after it.
Right.
I think you had a little time to acclimate yourself before your season actually started. How often did you train in the fall when the school year first started?
Yeah, for sure. So we kind of kicked to it right away. I mean, we would go 20 hours for like a month, and then we would go 8 hours, so it would switch because of the NCAA. And the 20 hours was a grind. Every day was at least 3 to 4 hours. You had lifting at 6 a.m. and then practice right after school, and right after that you go straight to the academic center for tutoring and mentor whatever you had. So it's definitely a grind. We also had the program come, which was a Navy SEAL based workout. So we had the men come for 2 days to train us. We also have our OKC challenge, which we have every year. So the fall is definitely motivating, and it's a lot of hard work. So to get through that and to go through season it's an accomplishment.
All right, so I have to ask. I know you're an athlete and you work out all the time anyway, but when they pulled up with the Navy SEALs, were you like, real? Like, were you kind of like, whoa, you guys going a little crazy here?
Yeah, it's definitely crazy because I mean, if they told you to raise your right hand and you raise your left hand, they'll get in your face. So it's like it's it's real life. Like we went through that. The Navy SEALs go through that, and it was a great experience. So
um, Being at a point where you're kind of at a reflection point now, where you're walking in your dreams. I know you haven't accomplished all your goals, but you're definitely accomplished a big goal. What Having some reflection now, hindsight 2020, is there any advice you can give to parents who have a youngster that aspires to be the next Julia Jimenez, maybe sixth, seventh grader? What advice would you give? Just random advice you would give a parent who has an aspiring softball player?
yeah, so for sure, I would say find a program that you is very reliable. I played for the Firecrackers, so at such a young age, they helped me grow and be who I am today. Really, the coaches are phenomenal in that program, and finding a program is probably the first step in being recruited. And now you have to go through the coaches and stuff to be recruited because of the new rule change. But that's definitely one thing I would say is find a great program because you make lifelong friends and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just it's a grind and you have to trust the program and know that they're going to get you somewhere. So,
Good answer. Now, here's something I'm very interested in as well. Is obviously in high school you played against some great players, and in travel ball and things like that, you end up playing against people that many of them go on to play in college. But once you got to college, I'm very curious to know: did you find the college game to be faster? Was it exactly how it was in high school or travel ball, or is it different in any way?
yeah, so um looking back, watching just all the college games on TV, and you kind of look at it and you're like, wow, these girls throw hard, they're so fast, all that. But once you get to the college level, it's nothing like you haven't seen before. If you can compete in travel ball, you're still playing with the same girls that are in college now. So it's it's really not that much big of a difference. Girls are faster, stronger, obviously, but the game is still the game, and you just have to compete. And if you can compete, then you'll be solid.
That's great. I always wanted to know that, how much different is it? So that's good.
Yeah.
Now, as far as your team this year at Michigan, um, how would you describe it? Is this as far as the classes, is it a lot of seniors on the team? Is it a kind of an older team with a lot of old folks, or is it kind of a good mix, or is it just a young team?
Yeah, we have a good mix. We have four seniors, 4 or 5 seniors. So we have a good mix. We have around 4 juniors, and we have 5 people in our sophomore class. And I would say my class is the biggest with 6. So we're pretty even. We won't be losing a lot, but definitely our seniors this year, they held it down. So we're gonna miss them, but we're going to come back strong next year. We have 3 girls coming in, which is a smaller class, but we can handle it. So we're pretty even.
That's good. It's good to have a team with mixture in college because if it's all seniors and you one or two freshmen
Right.
coming in, it's a different feeling.
Right.
Now, as far as growing up, um, and this could be someone who no one knows who they are, but they just made a big impression on you. Um, is there anybody when you were, in high school level, or even in middle school, that you always kind of wanted to model your game after, or maybe it was someone that wasn't even at your school, more in your travel ball scene? Is there one player that you always kind of admired?
Yeah. So I mean, being recruited, you kind of look up to a lot of players, and one player in my mind that I can think of is Sierra Romero. And just when I was being recruited, she was on the team, and she had so much fire and heart for the game, and that's what I aspired to be. So, I mean, I hear it from people all the time. You have the Romo look, all this stuff. So, I mean, it's becoming a dream, and everyone has their differences, but Romo's someone that I did look up to, and I just I aspire to be her. So not to be her, to be my own, but you know,
I think that's great. Obviously, you're going to be your own person, but I think it's great that you had somebody that you kind of said, "Hey, I like their spirit, their passion for the game."
yeah,
You definitely have a lot of. You got talent, but I mean, I think one of the things I noticed right away about you, and just from listening to people talk about you, is you have passion, but you also got flavor in your game. You have personality. You bring it on the
yeah,
field, and so that's an awesome thing to have. I think it's great about your game. Now, I know you worked out all the time. You probably sleep was like gold. I'm sure when you first got on campus, oh my, I could go to sleep.
yeah,
Um, but did you have time to do any of the things that the other freshmen kind of get a chance to do? Like, did you get a chance to go to a football game or basketball game? And if so, what was it like being in the big house?
yeah. So football season, we're in our 20 hours, so we do have time because we're not playing. So we would go to the big house every Saturday when they would play, and the atmosphere is it's insane. It's crazy. Everyone has the school cheers, and we would sit in the student section, rain, snow, shine. It didn't matter. We were there. So it was awesome. The environment was awesome.
And that's the priceless part, the things that come with being in college that I think for those of us that went to college, those kind of like priceless things, just those moments with your friends. So that's cool. So you've been to the big house. That's on my bucket list to one day go to a game with the
For
big
sure.
house. They say it's nothing like it. All right. So the last time I checked, your season had already started. I remember you guys were 8-0. I try to follow as best I can, like early March or somewhere in there. Um, what what would you say? This is your first year in college, but is there a game that your team generally circles the calendar for? Says this is our big game, this is our rivalry game.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure about the past years, but every school has their rival team. And since I didn't get to play this full season, obviously, um, I'm not really sure what their rival was in the past couple years. But seeing how this whole year was going, I know we wanted Ohio State, just like the whole rivalry, but between Michigan and Ohio State. Um, Also, just the bigger teams. We obviously can compete, and UCLA won it last year, and we got an opportunity to play them in California for spring break, and we we definitely fought. We lost 2-0, but we competed, and that's all that matters. So just Michigan State, I would say, as well, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. Those are some big teams to have rivalry with. So I mean, that's just got to be. I think that's the best part of sports
Yeah.
is the pageantry and knowing like, oh man, we're playing them. The competition, getting up, and just when you get to travel and see stuff. So that's really cool. So Julia, you were a part of our flagship movement to really make sure we really focus on female student athletes moving forward. And so you were you being a part of the magazine and coming into the photo shoot was really big for us. And we wanted to make sure moving forward we celebrated um, our female student athletes who are as good or if not better than the male counterparts many times, but often overlooked. So, being in college now and just having again hindsight, are there any things that you would advise media outlets like IE Preps and other places to do anything we can do to do more to support our female student athletes?
Yeah, I would just say I think one of the main things that I've always thought about that I don't think has really ever been discussed would be I know we do interviews just you and I, but I think it would be great to also do interviews with say me and my brother together, for example, and just compare the two sports at once. And I think it's awesome to do that just because if we talk at the same time, whatever, we're all involved. So I think I think that would probably be my main point. We can do interviews like this, me and you, all the time, but I think it would be awesome if I did an interview with someone at USC baseball. You know what I mean? So it's just different. It's a different look on it. So I think that'd be awesome.
Well said. I don't know. You were just sitting on that one because the reality is, a lot of times we do separate sports
Right.
and based on gender, and instead of making it one continuous sports theme. So I like that. I like that, and we had a conversation with a couple of my friends the other day, and we are talking about how why isn't the WNBA playing during the same time as the NBA? Because it's
Right.
basketball season, why separate them? So that's a great point, and we're going to look to do that. We just really want to make sure we push the issue. You know, you. I'm sure obviously your mother is extremely proud of your family, but the community as well. We're proud of you for what you're doing. Continue to be who you are, a genuine person, and I'm currently getting my doctorate at USC, so I've been
That's awesome.
practicing the fight on. So
That's awesome.
what do Michigonites say to each other?
Go blue.
Go blue. Okay, I like it. Well, go blue. IU Press fans, this is Julia Jimenez, phenomenal person, phenomenal student athlete, freshman year at Michigan. Much success, and thank you for this interview during these times we're
Of
going
course.
through right now.
Thank you so much. You have a good one.
All
Thank
right,
you,
take care.
everyone. Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Bye.